Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. It's great to be back. Gov, thank you very much for that introduction. We've been friends a long time, and I hope that continues for a much longer time. Folks, I think our best days are ahead of us. And Las Vegas, as we meet here today, I also want to thank the senator. I think I'm going to be calling her governor or United States senator or maybe vice president somewhere along the line. And those sneakers she bought, I tell you what, I'm counting on them working. Look, you know, as we meet here today, we have ample evidence clearly laid out by how of the serious and sustained threat that Donald Trump poses to our democracy. And, you know, when I announced I was running... No. Let him go. Let him go. No. Let him go. Let him go. I'm sorry. Well, folks, that's okay. Look, that's how far we've fallen. When I announced I was running, I said that we were in a battle for the soul of this nation. I said our core values, our very democracy was at risk. And I doubt whether anybody here today doubts that to be the case. Folks, we have a president who's violated his oath of office, a president who has put at risk our national security, a president who may, and that would be the decision of the Congress to make, may have committed a crime, and a president who used the power of his office and your tax dollars to try to persuade a foreign leader to once again interfere in a presidential campaign. It's pretty clear that he will stop at nothing to hold on to power. And after 70 straight polls have shown me beating him, I think it is not surprising that I've become the object of his attention. Look, in the weeks and the months to come, it's the Congress's job to pursue the facts and to hold Donald Trump accountable. In the meantime, my job, our job, is to make sure, above all else, we beat Donald Trump. You know, this country can overcome 4 years of Donald Trump with some great difficulty. There's been a lot of damage done at home, and assuming in the remaining year of his term, if he's in for a remaining year, that, no, I'm not being a wise guy when I say that. Nobody knows what's going to happen. But the fact is that he'd like very much for me to focus on his mistakes, what he's done, and his focus of battle between he and I. This is not about me. This is about the American people. This is about every major publication in America and around the world has indicated that his assertions are just flat dead wrong. But again, it's not about me. We'll overcome this. This is fine. My family handled this. But I'm worried about all the families and all the lives that are at stake in this election because of his failure as a president in terms of the substance of what needs to be done. He wants to hijack this election so that we're not going to focus on your lives. So we're not going to focus on issues that relate to health care, education, rewarding work, not just wealth, gun violence, climate change, immigration. All the things that I think that are the reason why at his core, above everything else, why he no longer deserves to be President of the United States of America. And look, I'm not going to let him do that. This election is about the American people and the issues that matter to all of you here in Nevada and throughout the United States of America. And I'm going to make sure that Donald Trump loses and you win. Folks, you know as well as I do, we have to rebuild the backbone of this country, the middle class. And this time bring everybody along. Everybody, no matter their background. Wall Street didn't build America. You build America. The middle class built America. Unions built the middle class. And folks, look, ordinary Americans doing extraordinary things are the reason why we've been able to accomplish what we have. Given half a chance, the American people, and this is not hyperbole, have never, ever, ever let the American people down. But look at where we are now. The middle class is hurting. Most families say that if they've received a bill for $400 in a month that they didn't anticipate, they'd have to borrow the money or sell something. Today, the middle class is shrinking. You know, growing up, my dad told us when he was in tough shape that the job is about a lot more than a paycheck. A job is about your dignity. It's about your place in the community. It's about respect. It's about being able to look your child in the eye and say, honey, it's going to be okay. It's not a number, it's a value set. It's a value set. You can hear the economists that work for me say, well, middle class is 52,100 or 54. It's not that. It's a value set. It's being able to own your own home and not have to rent it if that's what you wish to do. It's being able to send your kid to a decent public school so that they do well, they can go beyond either the trade school or community college or beyond that. And you figuring out if they can do it, how you can afford to get them there. It's about being able to send your kid to a park, they're going to come home safely. It's about being in a position. It's about being in a position where when your geriatric dad passes away, you're able to bring mom home and hope your kids never have to take care of you. Have a little breathing room. That's what being middle class is about. Just a little bit of breathing room. And folks, we have to rebuild it. The fact is that, you know, I'll never forget the time my dad, like many of you maybe, and many people you know, when Cole died in Scranton, Pennsylvania, where I was initially raised, I remember him making what I refer to as the longest walk any parent can ever make, up a short flight of stairs, to say to their child. I remember sitting on the end of my bed in my grandpa's house, saying, Joey, we can't live in our house anymore, the apartment we had. You're going to be here with Grandma and well, my grandma passed by then. You're going to be here with Grandpa, and Dad's going to go away. I'll be away for about a year. I'm going down to Delaware, where he had been as a kid when he was from 3rd grade on until he got to Scranton when he was a senior in high school. And he said, there's good jobs down there, honey. I'll come home every weekend. It's only 157 miles. I thought it was the end of the world. He said, I'll be home. I'll be home. And he said, but everything's going to be okay. And he meant it, because he knew the system worked in a way that, in fact, if he tried, take your coats off, guys. If, in fact, he tried, he could, in fact, do it. And he did. He did. We made that walk. But how many people today have made that walk? How many people today have made that walk? How many people today that are able to look their child in the eye and say, everything's going to be okay? Ladies and gentlemen, today, less than half the parents in America think their children will be able to accomplish the same standard of living they have. That's never happened before in the lifetime of any of you sitting here in this square. Never happened before. We're no longer the wealthiest middle class in the world. You know, millions of people are worried about their children being in a better shape. And guess what? Children are worried too. Millions of young people worry about how they're going to live the American dream with the student debt they've acquired in order just to get to school. In fact, we worry about how they're going to be safe. Little kids worry about how they're going to be safe in schools. Think about it. There's greater anxiety among kids between the ages of 7 and 22 than any other sector of the American economy. They're more worried. Our kids. our kids. And they have a right to worry, because Donald Trump has turned his back on the families and the American dream. You look, fewer Americans have health care. Manufacturing is in recession. The auto industry is shedding jobs, all due to Donald Trump. And we have to fight. We have to fight for the issues that matter to every single American. You know what Donald Trump has done. I'm here to tell you what I will do. And I intend to lead an effort to heal this country and, quite frankly, heal the planet. Folks, first we need to finish the job on health care. I was proud to serve as Barack Obama's vice president for 8 years. But never more than we passed the Affordable Care Act. The Affordable Care Act was a huge step forward in this country. It made historic progress by extending health care to 20 million Americans who didn't have it before. It, in fact, protected 100 million plus Americans with pre-existing conditions and said, you will now be covered. But we have to finish the job right now, folks. We have to make health care a right, not a privilege, and give everyone a peace of mind they deserve. That means, for me, providing a public option. Under my plan, if you have insurance and you like it, you get to keep it. If you don't like the insurance that you have, or you don't have the insurance, you can sign up for a public option. My plan reduces premiums, deductibles, out-of-pocket costs, increasing subsidies for middle-class people to be able to buy in. If you're eligible for Medicaid, you automatically are enrolled in health care under our plan. So I say, and I'll say to the drug company, we're going to lower, and Medicare should be able to go out and negotiate drug prices now to reduce the prices. And I say to the drug companies, from now on, abuse of prescription drug prices will not be tolerated. You will not be allowed to raise a drug price beyond the cost of inflation once it is approved. Ladies and gentlemen, my plan, I believe, is the fastest way, the most cost-effective way to reduce the cost for Americans, cover everybody, and I'm going to plan on protecting and building on Obamacare, and I'm not going to let anyone, Republican or Democrat, take it away, period. Folks, to rebuild the middle class, we need to increase education. We have to remake education in this country. My wife's a public school teacher. Now she teaches at a community college. She's been teaching, she's there, well, she's not teaching today, she just taught and left to go out to California to help me campaign. Look, everybody knows 12 years is not enough for an education in the 21st century, and we got to start earlier. That's why all we have to do is increase Title I. It's a program for at-risk schools. Increase that by threefold. We provide every single child in America from age 3, 4, and 5 to be able to go to preschool. And all the studies show that will significantly increase their prospects. We're also going to make sure that, in fact, those who have student debt will not have to pay back that student debt if when they graduate they make less than $25,000. And if they do make more than that, nothing will change. If they do make more than that, we drastically cut their interest payments. And if they go into public service, their debt will be forgiven. And third, we have to start rewarding work over wealth. Ladies and gentlemen, Donald Trump inherited a strong economy from our administration, just like he inherited everything in his life. And now he's in the midst of squandering that economy, just like he squandered everything given in his life. There used to be a basic bargain in the country. If you contribute to the well-being of the outfit you work with, you got to share in the benefits. That doesn't happen anymore. That doesn't happen anymore. Corporate profit has been going through the roof for the last decade. Ladies and gentlemen, what have they done? Have they increased salaries? Have they made further investments? They bought back $1 trillion of their own stock. They rewarded their stockholders in cutting stock in price in half and doubling the price by buying back their stock, as well as that's how CEOs get paid. It used to be, about 20 years ago, CEOs got paid something like 31 times the average employee in their corporation. Today it's 400 times. What happened here? We got to change it. And one of the ways we're going to change that today, there is no reason why. There's no reason why somebody who is a school teacher, a police officer, a union worker, nobody should be in a position where they pay a higher tax rate than a multimillionaire. And that's why I'm going to double the capital gains rate to 40%, what they should be paying. Teachers, nurses, more taxes on the super wealthy, but no cuts in taxes for middle class people. Folks, I'm going to try to get through this quickly because it's hot out here. But folks, the fourth thing that is an absolute national emergency is guns. Folks, nobody knows that better than the people here in Las Vegas. Gun violence is now the biggest fear factor of our children. They're worried about being shot in school. That's what they go to school. That's what the studies show. There's more anxiety, people between 7 and 21, worried about they're going to get shot in school. What in God's name are we doing? I'm the only guy that's ever beaten the NRA nationally, and I beat him twice, and I'm going to beat him again. Folks, I come from a big gun-owning state. Ladies and gentlemen, the Constitution doesn't say you can own any weapon you want. The Constitution doesn't say anybody can own one no matter who you are. There is a limitation on the Second Amendment. It says that you have to pass, you cannot give a weapon or sell a weapon to somebody who is incapable of dealing with it or has a violent background. Well, folks, what's happening now? We have to have universal background checks. Secondly, if you talk about, you know, these folks, some out here in my state talk about the tree of liberty is watered with the blood of patriots. Well, if you need weapons to protect yourself from the government, you better go get an F-15. You better buy yourself, a fighter jet. You better go out and get a bazooka. The idea that an AR-15 is going to protect you from your government, come on. There's no rationale for that weapon. Even the fact is admitted by the majority of the people who are members of the NRA. You know, I've been to too many times meeting the people, the parents and the children who have lost parents or parents who lost children in mass shootings. I was in Sandy Hook for that horrific shooting took place. Never forget the eyes of those parents who lost their children. I made a commitment to them that I'd get these weapons off the street and pass meaningful gun legislation, and I will not stop until I've met that commitment, period. And third, lastly, you know, we have to confront the real existential threat that we all face. We have to declare war as if we're being invaded on climate change. It is the existential threat. In the first 100 days of my presidency, I will, in fact, first of all, immediately rejoin the Paris Climate Accord, which we have put together. And I will call all of the members of that climate accord to Washington, D.C. to raise the ante on what we have to do, because it's not enough what's being done now. The United States makes up 15% of the cause of global warming. 85% of it is out there. This climate change, meaning other countries, if we did everything perfectly, which we can do, we still are going to have a serious, serious problem. So, folks, the climate plan I propose will ensure we achieve 100% clean energy and net zero emissions by 2050. But in the meantime, by the year 2035, we'll fundamentally change the direction of all of this. Folks, I'm going to build 500,000 new charging stations so that we have electric vehicles, that in fact we own the market again. We consistently cut down on emissions. I'm going to provide tax credits for electric vehicles, for you retrofitting your homes, advances in battery technology, all these things that will drastically cut the carbon footprint in half by 2035. We're going to provide incentives for retrofitting every existing building to make homes and appliances more efficient. Look what's happened in the last decade alone. Wind power, the cost of it has been cut in half, and for solar power, it's gone down even further. My plan will make historic investments in clean energy and research technology. We're going to invest $400 billion in the first 10 years to make sure that we, in fact, lead the change in technology that has to occur in this country and export it to the world, creating thousands and thousands of jobs. And folks, I'll immediately roll back the climate damage Trump has done. I'll restore the fuel economy standards that even the industry agrees on, saving billions of gallons of gasoline. I'll stop telling California and other states that they have to lower their standards. I'm going to demand all 50 states increase their standards. Folks, But let's face this, none of these plans matter if we don't beat Donald Trump. And just as important, we'll never restore the American dream if we don't nation. Look, we can. That's why if we're going to get anything done, we have to start to work together. I'm tired of walking around with our heads down like, woe is me. What are we going to do? Ladies and gentlemen, this is the United States of America. We are better positioned than any country in the world to own the 21st century. Not a joke. Our workers are 3 times as productive as workers in Asia. We have more great research universities in America than all the rest of the world combined. We have the largest economy in the history of the world, and if we invest in our people, no one can challenge us. No one. Folks, there's not a single thing we can't do if we do it together. I'm more optimistic about America's future than I was when I got elected as a 29-year-old kid to the United States Congress. You know, my friends are tired of hearing me say this for the last 35 years or more, but I remember the one line in John Kennedy's speech when he decided we were going to go to space, we're going to go to the moon, the one that meant the most to me. He said the reason we're doing it is because we refuse to postpone any longer. I refuse to postpone one more day, not taking advantage of what we can do. This is America. There's not a single thing beyond our capacity. Remember who we are. So let's get up and take back this country. Take it back. Folks, everybody knows who Donald Trump is. We got to let them know who we are. We choose unity over division. We choose hope over fear. We choose science over fiction, and we choose truth over lies. God bless you all, and may God protect our troops. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President and Vice President of the United States.
A lot of spirit. How are you? Well, thank you all for being here today, and I'm delighted to once again celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month with you at the White House, right? This evening we come together to honor the devotion and the drive and the faith and genius and exceptional achievements of our incredible Hispanic American community, right? Everybody here Hispanic and or Hispanic American? Who isn't? Do we have anybody who isn't? I don't think so. How are you? Great man of faith. Great. Hispanic Americans have been a big part of our national story from the very, very beginning of our country. You work hard, you raise your strong and beautiful families, you care for your neighbors. You start businesses, you create jobs, and you teach your children to love our country and to cherish our God-given freedom, right? Hispanic Americans enrich America in countless ways, and we will always honor the solemn commitment to you. I will always be with you, and I think you know that maybe better than anybody knows it. All of our citizens, every single day, we're fighting for you. We're putting your needs, your families, and your futures first. We're putting America first. We're putting the people in this room, we're putting you first, all right? And we're delighted to be joined for this special occasion by Vice President Mike Pence, who's doing a fantastic job. Yeah, say a couple of words, man. Say a couple of words. Come on.
Well, thank you, Mr. President, and it is wonderful to be here just a few short days before we kick off Hispanic Heritage Month. The Americans gathered in this room and all you represent stand for everything that's great about this country and everything that this president and this administration fight for every day. Faith and family and freedom. Thank you for being here at the White House, and God bless you.
Thank you, Mike. We have some very powerful, important people that have been doing a fantastic job on the cabinet. Administrator Andrew Wheeler. Where's Andrew? Where is Andrew? Thank you. Well, Andrew, I thought you were taller than that. I thought you were taller than that, Andrew. Deputy Secretary Patrick Pizzella. Patrick, thank you. Thank you, Patrick. Good job, Patrick. U.S. Treasurer, who everybody knows, Jovita Carranza. Thank you, Jovita. A great football player at Ohio State. Fantastic. He went into the NFL, and he was tough as can be. A lot of people don't know that. He's a tough cookie, and he's a friend of mine, Representative Anthony Gonzalez. Thank you. Along with a lot of other political people and state and local leaders and a lot of diplomats, all the diplomats, thank you very much. We always love diplomats in the White House because we can use diplomats sometimes. I also want to thank Christine DeClario for her beautiful rendition of our national anthem. Thank you, Christine. Great job. Last week, I had the privilege of awarding the Presidential Medal of Freedom to another phenomenal member of the Hispanic American community, the legendary pitcher for the New York Yankees, I think one of the great pitchers of all time, certainly the greatest reliever of all time, Mariano Rivera. He was something. Boy, his record, you know, he was up, and he's been a friend of mine for a long time, and as a Yankee fan, but there's never been any human being that broke more bats. I said, what do you do? He threw a heavy ball. I said, Mariano, how do you do that? He said, I don't know. God just gave me this ability. But you'd have people up there, and those bats were breaking left and right. It was a heavy ball, and his record was incredible. His earned run average in all of the playoffs, and I think he had a record for games played, but his earned run average was less than 1 run a game. And they won many, many World Series and many games. So he's a special person and a really nice person, too. Mariano is one of millions of the outstanding men and women of Hispanic heritage who has excelled in every dimension of American society and helped to build our community into the greatest nation the world has ever seen. Today, thanks to our pro-American economic policies, you all know this, Hispanic Americans are thriving like they have never thrived before. We've created more than 6 million new jobs since my election. More than 1 million Latinas have entered the workforce. And as you probably heard me say on occasion, Hispanic American unemployment right now is at the lowest level in the history of our country. How do they beat us in a debate when they say, we're going to get the Hispanic vote? And I say, really? The lowest level in the history? I mean, it's the lowest in the history of our country, so that's something special. Since 2016, Hispanic American median household income has risen by $1,500 and is now the highest level in the history of our country. How about that? Not doing bad, right? 500,000 more Hispanic Americans now own a home, and we've never seen these kind of numbers before. So I'm very proud to report that more Latinas own small businesses than ever before. And, you know, great business people. When I was out on that business market, I hated competing with you. Smart and tough and vicious, but I won't say that tonight. We have one of these amazing entrepreneurs with us tonight. Maria Rios is the president and CEO of Nation Waste, Inc., and she's got an incredible story to tell. Maria, please come forward, please.
honor. My goodness,
honor.
my honor. Thank you very
my
much.
honor. Thank you.
Thank you. Wow, what an opportunity this is. Thank you so much for this opportunity. My name is Maria Rios, and I'm the president and CEO for Nation Waste. I came to America when I was 13 without knowing English with my parents because of a civil war from El Salvador. And through education and perseverance and also hard work and work ethic, I am now the owner of Nation Waste, a fully certified company in America. I love creating jobs for more Americans, and to me, this is just a dream come true, and I just cannot thank you enough for all the work that you're doing to help us, small business owners, to grow our businesses across the United States. I also want to say thank Ivanka for what she's doing, her leadership that she's doing as well, and the Vice President as well, for all the hard work that they're doing. And I just want to say, Nation Waste, who would have thought that this little girl who came to America from El Salvador, not knowing English, went to school through education, now I'm the first Latina in the waste management industry in the country, and the largest multi-million-dollar company in the state of Texas. I love creating jobs for more Americans, and I just thank God and my parents, my mother, my father, and of course my husband and now my family and my employees and everyone that made this possible. So, Mr. President, thank you for all that you're doing for this great country. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Maria. That's a fantastic job. I was going to say maybe you should run for office. You did so well. After seeing how well she's done, I think you should just continue to do what you're doing. You're doing very well. Thank you, Maria. As we empower women in our own economy, last month, my daughter Ivanka traveled to South America, including Colombia, Paraguay, and Argentina, to highlight the WGDP initiative, the critical role women play in creating economic opportunity, and the administration's commitment to empowering women all around the world was really something. And Ivanka has worked so hard for jobs and for women and gets no credit for it, but she doesn't even care, I tell you. Well, she gets credit with the people that count. You know that. That's the people that we all know. She has done really a fantastic job for women and also for jobs. 13 million additional jobs. She'll go around and see all of these big companies, and they'll hire and really empower. It's something very special to watch. Every day, my administration is working to deliver a more prosperous future. America is winning again, and America is being respected again like it hasn't been respected in a long, long time. Our country right now is more powerful than ever before. We have achieved record funding for the U.S. military, $2.5 trillion over the last 3 years. We've rebuilt it. When I was just coming into office, our military was totally depleted. It was depleted like you wouldn't want to even hear about, and it's been rebuilt, and it's bigger, better, stronger. We have an amazing military, $2.5 trillion. And we'll work on the budgets, but before we do the budgets, we have to rebuild our military. I think you understand. Otherwise budgets don't matter, right? Otherwise, budgets don't matter. And then we delivered a beautiful pay raise also for every soldier, sailor, airman, Coast Guardsman, and Marine. So they're very happy. More than 250,000 Hispanic Americans bravely serve in our armed forces. That's a lot of people. And we're profoundly grateful to each and every one of them. Great. And we're also incredibly thankful for the thousands of Hispanic Americans serving on the front lines, protecting our borders. And you know better than any people how important borders are. You know better than anybody. You know, my poll numbers with Hispanics went way up. And they said, I wonder how that is. You want strong borders. Well, the Hispanics know better than anyone. You don't want people coming into our country that are going to do harm to you. And frankly, you don't want people coming into our country that are going to take your jobs. It's very simple. So at first, I was even a little surprised to see those numbers. Mike and I were discussing it. Then all of a sudden, it made a lot of sense. Made a lot of sense. But right now, Mexico has been a tremendous help to us. We're president of Mexico. We have 27,000 Mexican soldiers on our southern border. They've never had any. We've literally never had virtually any Mexican soldiers, and we have 27,000 now. We can't get the Democrats to do what they're supposed to do with the loopholes or with asylum. No, they're not doing their job. We call them they're not doing their job. The do-nothings, right? The do-nothings. They're not, well, you can't. You're better off saying it. You're better off saying it. You people are really out there. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. So we're really doing a job with borders. We're really doing a job with the economy, number one economy. We're number one at everything we have. Strongest military, by the way, strongest military by far anywhere in the world. And we're going to keep it that way. If not, make it even stronger. More than, and hopefully, by the way, hopefully we don't have to use it. Hopefully, and you know, interestingly, the stronger it gets, the less likely it is that we have to use it, you know? That's sort of the way it goes in life, unfortunately. More than half of our Border Patrol agents are Hispanic, and more than a quarter of our ICE agents, and those ICE agents are incredible, and they are Hispanic, and they are tough. They are tough. They're patriots. And we're moving MS-13 gang members and some of these horrible people. Bum. They're being brought out of our country by the thousands, and they are bad, as you say, bad. They're bad hombres, so you better believe it. He's saying, I used that word once, and nobody's let me forget it. Many of these agents are themselves immigrants or the children of immigrants, and they're incredible people, extraordinary patriots who uphold our laws and safeguard our communities. We're honored to have with us one of our finest, Patrol Agent Jose Avina. And Jose, if you could come up. Come on up, Jose. Say a few words. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President and Mr. Vice President, for inviting my family and I. We're grateful and honored to be here with you tonight, celebrating our Hispanic Heritage Month with these amazing people here. I want to praise God for this opportunity to salute the brave men and women of the United States Border Patrol who are out there working tirelessly, keeping America safe. As chaplains, we have the honor to be by the side of agents' families who are injured, who have paid the ultimate sacrifice in the line of duty. We pray for them, we walk with them through their journey of grief, and we step by step continue with their lives. We have the honor to be with those agents whose children are battling cancer, like the Reina family, the opportunity to accompany the death of a spouse, a parent, or a child, like the Gomez and Morales family. I had the honor to serve with both of these families at Police Week. I have the daily privilege of working with some of the most compassionate men and women who render aid to the injured, rescue people who have been walking for days or were drowning, these agents who volunteer as coaches, mentors in our communities. Finally, I want to thank my parents, my mother who worked so hard after my dad was injured and could no longer work. She's an example of a tough, hardworking Latina who never gives up. I also want to thank my beautiful wife, Amy, my daughter, Brianna, and my two babies, Jose Luis and Bella, for always supporting me and allowing me to serve my country as a Border Patrol agent and as a chaplain. To my brothers and sisters in green, keep the great work. Honor first. Y Dios lo bendiga, President Trump.
Wow. Jose, you come from an incredible group of people, I'll tell you what. They're brave, they're strong, they love our country. We appreciate the work you do, and I don't think anyone knows how much we appreciate it. You don't get the credit you deserve, but the people appreciate it more than anybody would know. And I want you to know that we will always stand with the heroes of Border Patrol, ICE, and all of law enforcement. They have done just incredible work. To ensure a safe and prosperous future, we also are advancing the cause of human liberty in our hemisphere. We are also, by the way, advancing the cause of religious liberty. Right? We just talked about that at the United Nations. We've confronted the corrupt communist dictatorship in Cuba, canceling the last administration's one-sided deal with the Castro regime. It was just another bad deal, very one-sided, very unfair to the United States. We're making good deals now for the United States. It's about time. Our deal with China, our deal with so many, they're all coming along very, very nicely. Little patience. To make them great, you need a little patience. Our farmers, by the way, have been incredible. They've been incredible. And now China's back buying again. They're buying a lot of our agricultural products. A lot of things are happening. The United States and our partners have also built a historic coalition of 55 countries dedicated to the future of democracy for the people of Venezuela. Right? Great people. And this evening, we are proud to welcome ambassadors from many nations taking part in this incredible coalition. Please put up your hands. A lot of ambassadors. We have some really great people. Thank you. Great people. A lot of very, very terrific, patriotic people. They love their country. They love our country. It's all working out really well, and the relationships have rarely been better and probably never been better. On behalf of the American people, we want to thank you all, and thank you all for being here. Thank you very much. And we will not allow the horrors of socialism and communism to be repeated in this country. America stands with the brave people of Cuba and Nicaragua and Venezuela in their righteous struggle for freedom. Someday soon, the Western Hemisphere will be the first fully free hemisphere in human history. Did you know that? Human history. It's going to happen. Hope it happens during my term, let's say over the next 16, 18, maybe 20 years. We have just driven the media crazy with it. In this noble quest, we know that our cherished Hispanic American citizens are among the fiercest defenders of our shared American values. Together, we believe in freedom, we believe in justice, we believe in the rule of law, we trust in God, and we cherish the dignity of every human life. This evening, we are grateful to be joined by Martha Avila, the president of the Heartbeat of Miami Medical Clinics. Did an incredible job. Martha has helped thousands of mothers choose life. Martha, please come up and say a few words. Let us know about the great job you've done. I already know, but they don't. Thank you, Martha. Thank you, darling. Thank you very much.
My name is Martha Avila, president and co-founder of Heartbeat of Miami Pregnancy Health Medical Clinics. Mr. President, Mr. Vice President, thank you for the honor of being here. I am a Cuban American, and it saddens me that Cuban Americans and African Americans, even though we're a minority, Hispanics and African Americans are the minority, yet we form the majority of abortions in our country. 1 out of 2 pregnancies of African Americans ends up in abortion, and 1 out of 3 Hispanic pregnancies ends up in abortions, and that saddens me. And on behalf of Heartbeat of Miami and the pro-life movement, we want to thank you for what you do for life. Our president does stand for life, life of the unborn and all lives. And I just want to thank you for that, Mr. President. We, over 3,000 pregnancy clinics throughout the nation with very limited resources are doing this labor of love for those that don't know what to do. They're confused. They don't have a way out, and they think that abortion is the only solution. Yet we offer them the opportunity to parent their babies and the opportunity of a plan of adoption. That is what we do. So pregnancy clinics are good for America. And one day, abortion will be unthinkable in our country. So God bless you all. God bless you both. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Martha. Great job. Well, thank you very much, Martha. And every day, millions of Hispanic Americans like Martha are making tremendous contributions, achieving extraordinary breakthroughs, and enriching every corner of this incredible country of ours. There is no part of American society you have not made better, Hispanic Americans. There is no aspect of American life you have not made stronger. And I know that I speak for all Americans when I say that we could not be prouder of our Hispanic American community than we are today. So, to all of you here today, on behalf of Mike and myself and the cabinet, this is a great cabinet that we have, and I want to thank them for being here. But I want to thank you for your devotion to your country. Thank you for your contribution to our culture. And thank you for helping make America greater than ever before. It is greater than ever before. Remember that. God bless you all, and God bless America. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.